I've finally been believed and validated, and I feel that our system works, or at least it did for me.
For the first time in as long as she can remember, Alysha feels safe. Safe enough to tell her story. It's a story of horrific abuse within a wealthy family who seemed to have everything.
We had a beautiful home, we had wonderful holidays and experiences. I think from the outside looking in, I had a perfect childhood.
But inside the family home in the affluent Perth suburb of City Beach, things were far from perfect. Alysha's father, Mark Nodwell, a successful physiotherapist, sexually abused her between the ages of 4 and 8.
My personal reality was that from a very young age, my father began sexually abusing me at home in the evenings when he got home from work. At the time, I was so young that I had no idea it was unusual. I knew it was painful. I knew that it hurt, and but I guess I assumed that it was normal, that all dads did this to their or with their daughters.
On paper, everything looked just right, but it wasn't.
No, far from it.
The actual core of our family unit was very broken and very sad and very distressing and very isolating. It was not a happy family to be a part of a lot of the time.
Looking back now, her mother and older brother Scott can see there were warning signs. But at the time, they had no idea about the sexual abuse.
We all give each other the benefit of the doubt in society. We assume that everyone's doing the right thing. And this kind of perpetrator, they take advantage of that.
Alysha herself was too young to understand, let alone articulate what was happening, but there were red flags.
As such a small child, I did experience quite acute pain, chronic UTIs, chronic constipation.
The psychological impact was profound, leading to 3 suicide attempts, the first when she was just 12. During a mental health admission at Hollywood Private Hospital in 2004, Alysha's hospital notes show she spoke with nursing staff about sexual abuse she may have suffered as a child. But this was before mandatory reporting was introduced for health workers in WA. Several years later, Alysha became a parent herself, a game changer that prompted her to finally go to police.
Holding my baby and trying to reconcile that with my own biological father taking away my innocence and breaching my trust in such a horrific way really brought home the gravity of what he had done to me as a person that should have kept me safe.
My name is Rulan Carr. I'm a sergeant with the WA Police Force. My role in the case was the investigating officer whilst I was a detective senior constable at the Sex Assault Squad.
Hey!
In my experience, it's probably one of the most difficult offences to prosecute, historical sexual abuse cases. And the reason for that is there isn't that smoking gun. Very rarely would there be forensics. Wasn't in this case. There's no CCTV. There's no direct eyewitnesses.
Sergeant Rulan Carr spent the next 2.5 years building the case before charging Nodwell in 2019. At his trial in October last year, Nodwell was represented by one of Perth's top defence lawyers, who argued the allegations were simply false and called character witnesses who spoke of Nodwell's honesty, professionalism and integrity. Alysha was cross-examined over 3 days.
Which was exhausting and harrowing.
But the jury believed her. Nodwell was found guilty of 20 counts of child sexual abuse and sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. He maintains his innocence and is appealing his conviction on the grounds that the guilty verdicts are unreasonable or cannot be supported given the whole of the evidence.
Against all odds, we managed to get Alysha the justice and the recognition she deserved in the most magnificent way.
I always struggle to find the words to describe the difference that she's made in my life, but she is, and I'd imagine always will be, the most remarkable person I've ever met.
Normalising the conversation of sexual abuse, you know where that started? It started here!
Alysha has drawn strength from other survivors, like Australian of the Year Grace Tame, to share her story publicly. More than ever, she feels she's not alone, but she wants to see more discussion around sexual abuse within families.
And I understand it's unpalatable and it's taboo and it's, awful, but it's also very common and very important to be included in the conversation that is happening nationally.
Alysha's case is an exception to the rule. Most sexual assault victims never go to police, let alone see their perpetrator convicted. The trauma associated with reliving the abuse in court is one of the reasons many victims never make it to this point.
There's work to be done in the Australian system to make it a more trauma-informed process that is accessible to many, many more victims.
When handing down Nodwell's sentence, the judge described Alysha as a courageous woman. She said,
"To her great credit, she managed to complete her education, to obtain a degree, to marry, to have a good job. To have done that at the personal cost and overcoming the obstacles that she has indicated, the scars that have been caused, is a very great achievement."
It means the absolute world to me to have had a district judge of her standing and her reputation validate what I've been through and believe me.
Alysha credits her husband and 2 children with giving her the strength to pursue justice. She now works with vulnerable young people in the justice system and was recently accepted to study law. She says helping other sexual abuse survivors has become her life's mission.
Obviously the memories and the experiences that I've had I'm going to live with forever, or I have learnt ways to just live alongside those memories rather than having them define me in any way anymore. Take each day as it comes, and we'll continue to do that and hopefully reach a point of just peace.